Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 366 based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng was completely devoted to killing, and he was extremely stimulated. He made his breakthrough and completely understood the second level of lore engravings on Star Tower. After getting Star Tower, Luo Feng had been following the engraving picture path to understanding the mysteries behind Star Tower. He knew clearly that Star Tower was his trump card. Luo Feng had created techniques like Level Mountain, Golden Mountain, and Bloodlight because of temporary inspirations, and Luo Feng didn't even study into the second level of Shawu Wings even though it was easier than the second level of Star Tower. Luo Feng kept studying the mysteries of Star Tower. It was even more difficult than creating ultimate techniques of Universe Masters. Until today. He roamed the universe disguising himself as Blood Cloud Palace leader, and he was able to crush Universe Masters. Hong. Long. Boundless burning godly power flooded Star Tower, and the heaven pillars and seal stars started to shine. Its power surged. The godly power required was much more than when he had only cracked the first level of engravings, but the power was gushing. It was the 35th time Luo Feng and Sinking Fire Master clashed. It's little wonder he's completely suppressing me, thought Sinking Fire Master. It's Blood Cloud Palace leader. However, I can withstand him. I can resist every attack from him, and the attacks have only consumed a little of my godly body. I can stall him until the other Universe Masters arrive. Sinking Fire Master didn't feel ashamed even though he was being crushed. It was, after all, Blood Cloud Palace leader. The same Blood Cloud Palace leader who killed 2 Universe Masters and became an enemy to almost all the powers in the universe. It was not surprising for him to be crushed by Blood Cloud Palace leader. On the contrary, he would have felt weird if he were Blood Cloud Palace leader's equal. Hong. Long. They hit each other again like traces of light. Luo Feng triggered the second level of Star Tower. Following a deafening noise, the long shuttle of Star Tower immediately became much larger. The shuttle, which had only been thousands of miles long, immediately became tens of thousands of miles long, and Luo Feng had to become larger as well to feel comfortable holding such a gigantic shuttle. Peng! The long shuttle caused terrific whirlpools that dismantled the space around it, together with the lands and grass on the original star. Sinking Fire Master opened his eyes wide, and the antennae on his head started to burst aflame. Impossible, he roared and put his godly hammer-ups in front of him as if to form a wall. The shuttle stabbed the center of the hammers, and the power hit the chest of Sinking Fire Master. Peng! Sinking Fire Master shot back like a beam of light. How? Although Luo Feng was thrilled by the power of the second level of Star Tower, he knew now was not the time to be thrilled. It's time to kill him. Su! Luo Feng quickly followed him. Sinking Fire Master was completely stupefied. The power from that attack terrified him. The hammers hit his chest, and the power immediately ravaged his top-tier true treasure armor, hitting the armor's limit. His godly body trembled. Hong. 32% of my godly body is gone? Sinking Fire Master was shocked. He was a Universe Master and had been one for an eternity. He had a life gene level of more than 1,000 times. Besides, he was also wearing top-tier true treasure armor and had a godly body more than 600 miles tall. Yet 32% of his godly body had been consumed with one attack. Blood Cloud Palace leader was indeed powerful, but the Blood Cloud Palace leader known to history wasn't this powerful. Take another one. The bloody being arrived again, and the shuttle slashed the sky, forming whirlpools that crushed the space on the original star. Peng! It was irresistible. Sinking Fire Master bounced away, and Luo Feng followed him like a bolt of lightning. How can he be so powerful, wondered Sinking Fire Master, realizing his godly body was down to 29% already. He transmitted his voice, looking at the bloody being racing toward him, and said, I didn't expect Blood Cloud Palace leader to have gotten stronger. It's not shameful for this body of mine to die at the hands of Blood Cloud Palace leader. Hong. After an explosion, the body of Sinking Fire Master was annihilated. Ha ha. True treasures of a Universe Master. Luo Feng reached out his hands and took the world ring, the giant hammers, the top-tier true treasure armor, and a green bin into his world ring. Then he flew away like a trace of light. A sense of refreshment wafted with a breeze in the sky as Luo Feng flew toward a space whirlpool in the distance. I killed a Universe Master, Luo Feng said. He was still excited. Although he realized that Sinking Fire Master had multiple bodies the moment he killed him, as there were still life imprints on the true treasures, Sinking Fire Master wasn't able to retrieve those true treasures. He was too far away. Luo Feng would certainly be able to break those imprints. He isn't dead yet. After all, he's a universe master. Luo Feng was thrilled, and he looked at the shuttle in his hand. Supreme True Treasure Star Tower. No wonder it's a Supreme True Treasure. My human race doesn't even have a Supreme True Treasure, and one Supreme True Treasure can be a guarding treasure. No wonder. It was too powerful. When Luo Feng was only able to drive the first level of Star Tower, Sinking Fire Master's godly power surpassed Luo Feng. And they had techniques at the same level. However, Luo Feng was at a great advantage with his true treasure. Sinking Fire Master was also using a pair of top-tier true treasure hammers, but the power of them was nothing compared to that of a Supreme True Treasure. The Supreme True Treasure at the first level not only completely made up for the disadvantage Luo Feng had in terms of godly power but also gave him a great edge. And after he cracked the second level, Luo Feng, whose godly body was only at 100 times, was able to rival the most powerful universe masters with Star Tower. The difference in godly bodies was made up for by Star Tower. Even Primal Chaos City Leader, Star River Master, and 9 Remoteness Master didn't have Supreme True Treasures. Even Huge Axe Creator didn't have one, yet Luo Feng had one. Supreme True Treasure! Luo Feng exclaimed. The second level of engravings were much more complicated than those of the ultimate techniques of Universe Masters, and they can rival those of I Am the Universe. Fortunately, there are engravings already, and I only need to learn how to utilize them. I can't even imagine how terrific the third level of Star Tower will be. The second level of engravings could rival I Am the Universe, and after the engravings were combined with Star Tower, the power was much stronger than I Am the Universe. What about the third level? Ha. With Star Tower, I can go everywhere in the universe. Luo Feng was amazed. Suddenly, Hong. Long. A powerful force arrived, and the original star was controlled. The ruins were completely recovered. Control over space and time? Universe Masters are here. Luo Feng immediately realized that they were only the first group of Universe Masters. They would be followed by numerous others. Blood Cloud Palace Leader? Blood Cloud Palace Leader, don't you dare run. Who are you to yell at me? Luo Feng guffawed, and the whirlpool portal appeared. He flew toward it and went into it, leaving the original star and arriving at another. 2 Universe Masters tens of billions of miles away from Luo Feng were furious, but they could do nothing about it. They had to report it. Blood Cloud Palace Leader entered original star number 08625. ******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** It was the center of the Nine Hua race, and their leader, Sinking Fire Master, also lived there. Every 10,000 years, a group of peerless talents would be led to the Sinking Fire secret region to receive the best training. Inside Sinking Fire secret region, a giant mountain range hundreds of millions of miles long floated in space, and suddenly, an eye on the mountain opened. "What a pity!" Sinking Fire Master exclaimed. "I chose Li Volcano as my body, and it was destined to move with difficulty. Otherwise, my Nine Hua original body wouldn't have been killed so easily." He had gotten lucky while adventuring through the universe as a sector lord and had been bestowed with a second body by the universe. He had bred another body, ultimately choosing the gigantic Li Volcano. However, the larger a godly body was, the less flexibility it had. This one was so inflexible that it was too difficult to fly. It couldn't even move at its own discretion. Like World Tree, although it could move, it remained on that island. The Li Volcano body of Sinking Fire Master was a 60 million miles long, and it was difficult to even move it, not to mention going to that original star. "Regardless, that Blood Cloud Palace leader is indeed powerful," he said. "Impressive. He suppressed me the whole time, and his shuttle dismantled the surrounding space and turned it into whirlpools. Is that a more powerful technique?" Sinking Fire Master felt that attack was different the ones he had encountered in the past. Perhaps a Universe Master will die this time. He killed 2 Universe Masters before. Will he kill a third this time? On original star number 08625, in the vast sky above the ocean, Blood Cloud Palace Master flew through the air at high speed. He wore his blood-red battle robe, blood-red mask, and his curved, golden horn. Meanwhile, in his world ring, his original earthling body was dealing with the loots of his victory. Within his world ring, clad in black armor with a lone horn on his forehead, Luo Feng stood on the vast ground and looked at the loot before him, a true treasure which was a pair of gigantic godly hammers, a top-tier true treasure which was a piece of simple, unsophisticated armor, a true treasure which took the form of a green seed, and a world ring. Crack them! Luo Feng looked at the true treasures and world ring before him and divided out 5 streams of godly power at once, of which 2 went directly into the true treasure godly hammers, and 2 went into the true treasure armor and green seed respectively. The last one went right through the world ring. Peng! Luo Feng was not about to waste any effort on the world ring. He forcibly destroyed it right away. A loud bang sounded, followed by a large quantity of materials, valuables, and several true treasures falling from the world ring that broke apart. The scene was like a cluster of fireworks exploding in the sky, raining down on the land. In a split second, his surroundings were completely piled with mountains. This sinking fire master was really one unique character, collecting these few true treasures and branding each and every one with a life imprint. Even those valuables, more than half of them were branded with life imprints. Luo Feng shook his head. Hua! 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 His godly power was further divided into more streams, which dashed for those true treasures and valuables to penetrate them. The impact of his godly power was continuously felt. It had been said that with true skills, one could mold a thick metal rod into a fine sewing needle. With brute force, he cracked open the imprints. One after another, he continued until finally, with his godly power, he completed the cracking of all the imprints. One of his bodies took the identity of Blood Cloud Palace Master, an ancient existence known to the vast universe, and roamed the original star-seeking adventures. The other body was working hard at cracking all those life imprints of the true treasures and valuables that were Luo Feng's winnings. What great satisfaction, he murmured. Cool. Luo Feng felt a deep satisfaction that came from the bottom of his heart. When he first set foot off Earth and entered the universe, feeling jittery and frightened, he had spent his efforts striving and fighting. Every moment had been filled with pressure, and he always felt as though he could never gain control of his own destiny, much less control or guard the fate of his fellow Earthlings. Until now, when Luo Feng had finally gained a foothold for himself. Throughout the universe, I may not be the strongest, he said. Universe supreme beings are all much stronger than I am. Those who were comparable to me were aplenty. They were all universe masters at the pinnacle level. Even though, with Star Tower, I may at most be comparable to them. But at least, I am ranked within the pinnacle list of this vast universe. Joy abounded deep in his heart. Setting foot on this path of a great being, was it not all for the sake of seeking greater freedom? For the foothold he had now? My battle records this time round indicate the truth of what Primal Chaos City Teacher has said, that I have become a universe master. Luo Feng continued to forcibly crack those life imprints as he waited expectantly. I believe, thought Luo Feng, after Hong Alliance's internal discussion, very soon, I will be qualified to become a palace master of the Hong Alliance Palace. By then, just as Huge Axe Creator promised earlier, the day will come when I can sit alongside them. That will be the day I can claim back planet Earth. After an endless fight. 180 million years. Soon. The other great beings all felt that Luo Feng had only undergone around 100,000 years of cultivation, yet, the amount of time that Luo Feng had personally experienced was, in fact, 180 million years. If one's willpower was not strong enough, such long years would only bring one to a mental breakdown and ruination. Pu. 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 The life imprints of the treasures were continuously cracked and cleared, one after the other. After a short moment, the life imprints of the ordinary true treasures were also continuously cracked and cleared, one after the other. Soon, even the life imprint of the one and only senior true treasure found in the lot was cleared. After a good half an hour or so, upon consuming a tremendous amount of godly power, the pair of gigantic godly hammers and the top-tier armor were completely cracked. Not a single item here belongs to Sinking Fire Master anymore. Luo Feng carefully looked through the loot and concluded that all that was obtained from Sinking Fire Master had been completely laundered. Huh? Luo Feng's gaze came to rest on a mountain where a tremendous amount of materials were piled up. His godly power immediately locked down on one of the objects among the lot, a piece of a purple crystal pillar that was slowly floating upward. The entire crystal pillar was filled with diagrams of secret engravings. It was faintly different from the rest, and the diagrams confirmed Luo Feng's doubts. Zhenchang Valley? Luo Feng frowned, then laughed. My luck is not that bad after all. During the opening of the original stars, the Disambiguation Temple was one of the greatest treasures that had appeared. However, there was quite a handful of treasures that were one notch lower than the Disambiguation Temple, one of which was Blade River Luo, whose birth was already completed. There were also some treasure temples that might have shown up but had yet to open up. The Disambiguation Temple was one that had yet to open its doors, and Xinjiang Valley was also a place with hidden treasures. Although it had appeared, it had not opened. Luo Feng also knew of such information, so he recognized the crystal pillar as a token of Xinjiang Valley with one look. It was said that there was a total of 9 tokens, and when the births of all 9 tokens were completed, Xinjiang Valley would officially open. Only those with the tokens were allowed to enter Xinjiang Valley. Otherwise, no entry was allowed. Asterisk 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 asterisk. While the original Earthling body in the World Ring was cracking life imprints and found the token of Xinjiang Valley, Blood Cloud Palace Master was flying about in a disorderly manner, fleeing to another original star as he was being pursued in a frenzy. At this point, news of Sinking Fire Master's body being killed was fast spreading out to the higher-ups of various top powers of the universe. Sinking Fire Master's 9th body has been killed, and his true treasure was taken away. Sinking Fire Master has already released the news, saying that Blood Cloud Palace Master's power is now much stronger than it was 3 million eras ago, and he has changed his true treasure weapon to a true treasure long shuttle. Even Sinking Fire Master cannot fight him off. We must be vigilant, and if we are not confident of surviving, we had better not fight Blood Cloud Master alone. Therefore, Universe Masters decided to move about mostly in 2s and 3s. Of course, there were still some who went after Blood Cloud Palace Master alone. They either had humongous godly bodies, true treasure armor that was extremely strong, or flying palace-type true treasures. Some who were Universe Masters already ranked in the pinnacle list. In short, only those who were extremely confident dared to act as individuals. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Going after me? Luo Feng was speeding through the air as he laughed out loud. Every original star has a total of 10,081 space whirlpools that allow me to change my route in any way I like. Even if the universe top powers were to each send out several universe masters, how many could they come up to? Besides, all of them were not strong enough to stop me at all. In the name of his Battle to Fame plan, Luo Feng allowed Blood Cloud Palace Master to come out of hiding and wander about leisurely. On the one hand, he could test the power of this supreme true treasure. Secondly, Blood Cloud Palace Master's presence served as a good diversion. The 3 alliances would grow so infuriated that their attention would be diverted away from Luo Feng. After all, compared to Blood Cloud Palace Master, killing Luo Feng was merely an internal fight among the 4 pinnacle races. Blood Cloud Palace Master was the true cause for the rage felt by the various powers of the universe. Goal achieved, Luo Feng mumbled under his breath. Time to return to my god country. How do I make my way back? All this time, Luo Feng had been flying about in a spontaneous manner. There were times when he was near a whirlpool tunnel that led to the outside world, yet he did not go through it, as he understood that such an obvious route would likely lead him straight into the ambush set by a great being just outside the whirlpool tunnel. Just as Luo Feng was thinking about how he should leave the original star to return to his god country, he arrived at a whirlpool tunnel. Luo Feng stepped right through it without a second thought. Blood Cloud Palace Master, don't you dare escape. Blood Cloud Palace Master. Take up my challenge if you have the guts. 3 Universe Masters had been hot on his heels, but they were too far behind to stop him. Most unwillingly, they watched Luo Feng make his escape into the next original star number 08605. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Original star number 08605. Luo Feng had just stepped into this vast universe when he caught sight of 6 faraway figures. They were actually less than 60 million miles away from him. The leader of the group was a distorted, dark void while the other 5 towering figures all exuded extraordinary auras. Luo Feng recognized them at first glance. The Northern Territory Alliance. Blood Cloud Palace Master, all 6 figures all seemed to shout at the same time. Ha ha ha, one of them laughed. Blood Cloud Palace Master, we were just preparing to head over to the other original star to hunt you down. To think you actually came running here on your own. Now we meet. We just got lucky, said another. Blood Cloud Palace Master, what a route you have chosen, to run into our path so coincidentally. You have been hopping around different original stars, and we are also changing routes all the time. Now, we finally run into one another. These 6 universe masters of the Northern Territory Alliance would not be easy to handle. Along the way, these universe masters had been constantly receiving information stating that Blood Cloud Palace Master had made his way to a certain original star, or that Blood Cloud Palace Master had just moved on to another original star. The speed of change was extremely fast. Of course, this naturally led to the 6 universe masters of the Northern Territory Alliance having to constantly change their routes. After all, it would be futile for them to always be chasing him from behind. They would never have been able to catch up. Instead, they had to intercept from the front. But to do so, they need luck. There were simply too many space whirlpools. No one knew which one Luo Feng would go to. Just a slight change in direction would make a great difference in distance. Luo Feng could not be bothered with those voices. The 6 universe masters before him, 5 of them might be quite powerful and well-known, but with Star Tower in his hands, they were no threat to him. What truly caught his attention was the leader of the group, the Dark Void life form. Star River Master? Luo Feng spoke up. Blood Cloud Palace Master, the Dark Void transmitted a voice in acknowledgement. You and I? For the first time, we meet face to face. Twice previously, I hunted you, but each time I got to you, you escaped. This time, I have had better luck. I actually ran into you. Hua. All at once, endless starlight enshrouded the entire original star while a powerful force bound all corners together by enveloping the area. This was none other than a top-tier domain-type true treasure. You can forget about escaping, the looming, Dark Void said. I heard from Sinking Fire Master that you are very powerful. I would like to see for myself, if you are able to escape from me alive. My guess is, you should still be able to make your escape from our siege this time. Luo Feng looked on from afar but maintained his vigilance because, Star River Master's reputation aside, in terms of power, status, and reputation, he was not any inferior to Luo Feng's teacher, Primal Chaos City leader. This was definitely one of the top-ranking individuals on the list of Universe Masters. Even a Universe Supreme being would have been unable to tackle Star River Master. All these facts were evidence of his astonishing prestige of a top-ranking Universe Master. However, this is how I can see the gap between me and the pinnacle Universe Masters. Aggression was burning in Luo Feng's heart, and he gazed at the leader in the distance. He completely ignored the other 5 Universe Masters. He only had eyes for Star River Master. You're not running, came a voice from the Dark Void. Luo Feng gazed at his opposition. Neither are you. Ha ha ha, a guffaw came out of the Dark Void. Interesting. No wonder almost everyone in the universe wants you dead. You're indeed bold and arrogant. Stop talking. Luo Feng yelled, and his eyes glinted fiercely. If you want to fight, fight me now. Time's precious. He was replacing his teacher sitting mountain guest as Blood Cloud Palace leader, so he needed to be qualified. Blood Cloud Palace leader was a wicked and rampant being roaming the universe. Blood Cloud Palace leader, you live up to your reputation. All of a sudden, an arm-shaped substance extended out of the Dark Void, and a mace-shaped true treasure weapon appeared in the hand. At the same time, another arm-shaped substance showed up. This hand also held a mace-shaped weapon. Both maces were bronze, and the periphery was gold. This true treasure of mine is named Kuan Yi, and it's a top-tier pinnacle true treasure, said Star River Master. Top-tier pinnacle true treasure? Thought Luo Feng. Luo Feng understood that there were gaps even between valuables at the same level. The true treasure Star River Master was using now was only second to supreme true treasures, and it must have been as powerful as the mace-type weapons that Double-Face Ancestral God had been using. His status was self-explanatory based on the true treasure he was using. The other 5 Universe Masters spread out without meddling. They believed in the power of Star River Master. Take 3 attacks, said Star River Master. If you can, I won't stop you. Here's the first move. Star River Master started to move right after he said. He raced toward Luo Feng like a black phantom. Come on. Luo Feng dashed toward him holding the shuttle and shouted, Bloodlight. Luo Feng's godly body surged to 6,000 miles tall, and he performed his most powerful technique. His burning godly power flooded the shuttle. The shuttle twisted the space around it and formed whirlpools. The power was so strong that the other 5 Universe Masters were intimidated. Star River Master held the maces, which looked like bolts of lightning. 2 black beams of light gushed forth and hit the shuttle. The black void holding the two godly maces bounced away, and Luo Feng stepped back. This is the first move. Scream. The maces emanated powerful energy. I've looked down upon you. After all, it's only an ultimate technique of Universe Masters, and it's not enough to suppress you. I can tell that you're a pinnacle Universe Master. Take my second move. It's a supreme technique of Universe Masters created by me. As the voice went into Luo Feng's mind, Star River Master started to move again. The black phantom charged at him. The maces turned the space into darkness. A miniature universe? Luo Feng was shocked. It looked like a miniature universe, but there were some differences. The maces smashed toward Luo Feng like two worlds. Break! Luo Feng growled. He raced toward the maces, and the shuttle of Star Tower also stabbed toward the maces. Luo Feng felt his body trembling, and the shock waves hit his force armor. However, the power was neutralized by his force armor. Luo Feng dove away from the shock wave. This is the first ultimate technique of Universe Masters I created, Black Knight, said Star River Master. It seems that the shuttle in your hands is also a pinnacle true treasure. Otherwise, you would only be at a slight disadvantage. Luo Feng looked at the dark void in the distance. A pinnacle true treasure? What a joke. A race could have many ordinary pinnacle true treasures. As for pinnacle domain type true treasures and pinnacle soul type true treasures, a race might have several. However, a supreme true treasure was superior. The disadvantage he had because of his godly body and techniques were almost made up for by the shuttle of Star Tower. His first move is an ultimate technique of Universe Masters, and his second move is a supreme technique of Universe Masters. What about the third move? Luo Feng was confused. Could there be a more powerful one? That didn't sound right. Supreme techniques of Universe Masters should be the best that Star River Master could do. You're qualified to take my third move, said Star River Master. My supreme move. The other 5 Universe Masters collectively held their breath. They transmitted their voices in private. Look. The supreme move of Star River Master. We get to see it again. Last time Star River Master performed it, he killed a Universe Master in Universe Ocean, and the other 2 Universe Masters fled. They were all excited, as Star River Master wouldn't perform this move unless it was absolutely necessary. The original star was trapped in darkness again, and a dark power permeated through it. At the same time, completely different power arose from his maces. The maces started to shine. They were shinier than 10,000 stars combined. One of them was dark, and the other was bright. Luo Feng felt despaired when he handled it. He tried to banish the negative mood. It was not a soul attack, rather, it was an attack so perfect that it could only be awed and even made its oppositions. Of course, Luo Feng's willpower was strong enough for him to recover from those feelings immediately. He stabbed with his shuttle again. The space trembled. The light river hit the shuttle, and the shuttle resisted the river. The shuttle was as stable as a mountain. However, Luo Feng could still feel his godly power trembling even after the power being weakened by his force armor. Luo Feng bounced away beneath that power, and he could barely stop in the distance. Everything dissipated. The original star returned to peace again. 1/500th of my godly body is gone, said Luo Feng. He was astonished. He first used the shuttle to resist that move, and he used force armor to withstand it again. However, 1/500th of his godly body was still gone. If he used Blood Ghost Blade instead of Star Tower, the power would have been 2 levels more powerful. One attack could destroy 50% of his godly body. He was shocked to his very core, but what he didn't know was that Star River Master was even more shocked. What? Star River Master was terrified. He was already a pinnacle Universe Master, and he had a supreme technique of Universe Masters. He had created 2 supreme techniques of Universe Masters and had combined the 2 into one in Universe Ocean. It looked simple, but it took a long while when he combined the 2 as one. This attack. This was the move that made him awed by the entire universe, and that meant he did not need to be afraid of Universe Supreme Masters. He'd always known that only a few Universe Masters in the universe could rival him. A great amount of my godly power was consumed because of that move, but his godly power is hardly gone. Star River Master was shocked. He didn't know that Luo Feng had the supreme true treasure, Star Tower, in addition to his pinnacle true treasure force armor. If Star River Master knew that he had failed because of a supreme true treasure, he would have felt relieved. A voice came from Blood Cloud Palace leader in the distance. What is that move? River in Black Knight, said Star River Master. Incredible. Impressive, said Blood Cloud Palace leader. Luo Feng really was impressed. He took 3 moves, and the second move was Black Knight. Luo Feng could tell that the third move, River in Black Knight, was a combination of Black Knight and River, and their power led to a tremendous attack. The only supreme technique he knew was, I am the universe, and it had been bestowed to him by the universe. He couldn't create any. Yet his opposition had created several of them, and he was able to combine them. No wonder. It's Star River Master. Luo Feng exclaimed. Go, said Star River Master. You're able to take my supreme technique without being severely injured. At the same time, he took back his Star River and flew away. Star River Master. Star River Master. The other 5 Universe Masters followed Star River Master reluctantly after glancing at Luo Feng. They knew they wouldn't be able to injure Blood Cloud Palace leader given that he was able to resist the supreme technique of Star River Master, and now that Star River Master had left, they would follow him as well. Star River Master, Luo Feng whispered. He had finally witnessed the top-tier Universe Masters. He disappeared like a streak of light. This video will end here.